In this tutorial, I'm taking a look at the resource browser and going to give you some tips on how you can organize or rearrange the resource browser to make it easier to find things. First of all, one thing you should know is that you can hover over the edge of the resource browser, actually any browser, and you can see that your icon will change to a double-sided arrow. If you click and drag, you can make that window larger, longer, wider, so that you can see more that's inside of there. So I'm going to actually go to my resource browser instead of the shared. And one of the things that you can do from right within the resource browser is that you can delete or rename folders or individual files. So for example, here's a folder I have called History Social Studies. Maybe I just would want to call that's kind of a long name. It's capitalized, unlike my other things. So if I wanted to rename it, I could do that. I would click on this icon right next to it in the browser. I'm going to say rename, and I could say history. I click OK, and that has changed the name of that folder. Now the other thing I can do is I can actually delete a folder with this pull-down menu. Or if you go inside any of these folders, so I'm going to go inside my flip chart pages, and then I'm going to click on actions or action others. Let's say I wanted to get rid of this page right here. That also has an icon next to it that would allow me to delete it from the library, or I could rename it. So those are really the two organizational things you can do from within the browser are deleting files and folders, or you can rename them. If you want to rearrange, shuffle things around, you got to do that in a Finder window. Because really what you're looking at here are folders that really live on your computer. So the hardest part is, where are these folders? Well, for some people they are in one place, and for others they're in another, depending upon if you were ever an Active Studio user. So what you'll do to find them is go down to your dock, click on your Finder, which is this double-faced guy, usually on the far left of your dock, and that should open a Finder window that shows your system of folders on your computer. Go into Documents, look for a Promethean folder. Oh, by the way, I like to have these multiple columns that show me the hierarchy of folders that I'm in. To get those multiple columns, you click on this view icon at the top. Okay, so I click on the Promethean folder. Now, if you've never used Active Studio before, you should see a folder in here for Active Inspire. That's probably where these resource browser folders are. I used Active Studio before, so all of my resource browser folders are in here. So you should recognize these because, just as an example, you can see the history folder that I just changed that name. Well, here's a great example of where I could rearrange something, because I don't really need a history folder with a single US history folder inside it. I really just need the US history folder. So I could take this folder and I could drag it onto Active Studio 3. And what that did is it copied that whole folder. I have to go alphabetical order here, I'm guessing. Find US history. Oh boy. Where is it? Oops, I see. I accidentally dropped it in the wrong place. I dropped it here. Okay, I'm going to drag it into Active Studio 3. There we go. And now I have a folder in there called US History, and I had taken it out of the History folder, so really History is blank. So now that's a folder that I could delete or I could trash. I can bring it to my trash right here, or I can go back into my resource browser and trash it. I think I'll just bring it to my trash right now. Okay, then the other thing is there's a bunch of things in here you may just plain want to get rid of. Like, for instance, my text. I don't think that was kind of back in the old Active Studio days. I have nothing in there, don't want it. I could drag that to the trash. But the whole, if you're trying to find things and move them to other folders, you definitely want to do that in this Finder window. So here's another example. Language Arts has a literature folder in it. Well, I may not want that at all, or I may want to just drag the literature folder into my Active Studio 3 folder and get rid of the one called Language Arts. Hope that helps to do some organization of your resource browser.